Hello, everybody.
We're
It's
here.
us. We're here. We're here, and it's us.
Yes. Because I don't know who else we would be at this point.
Me either. Welcome to what episode is this? Oh my gosh.
9.
9? 9.
Mm-hmm. 9.
Welcome to episode 9 of VäkPäker's Guide to TTRPGs. Yeah, welcome.
Oh god, that means that the next episode of this is session 10 and I'll be at Bree's house.
Yeah. I assume...
Assuming we can figure out that we're doing it. I don't know.
Are
we'll
we doing
see.
this one in December? I mean, we can.
Well, I don't know. I thought we had talked about that we were going to just keep going.
I can. As long as there's not a one-shot.
Yeah, none of the one-shots are on Saturdays, so we're good.
Sweet.
This is how we plan stuff, guys. They're like, what are we doing? Okay, we're good.
Well, the one... I don't know. Anyway. The second part of a Benkar might be, but that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Oh, no, that... Oh, yeah. Okay. Anyway. I know what days are. Pausing. Give me a moment. Our sponsor for tonight is Canadian Dice. Go to canadiandice.ca and use the code TheVACTER, all one word, at checkout for 15% off your order. Maggie's dice pick of the week was Norseman, I believe.
Yes, again.
Yeah, it's actually, I looked it up. It's a very cool set. I think it's also in the pictures that I have now up. But they're very cool. Yeah, I'm a fan. You can get 15% off those. There's a whole bunch that are part of like a similar set of things. So check all of those out, because I kind of was looking at all of them and I was like,
yeah, and if you don't order them by December 10th, I think you won't get them before Christmas. So
yes,
just keep that in mind. So
if you're planning on ordering dice from Canadian Dice, especially if you don't live in Canada, be sure to get your order in as soon as possible. Next, speaking of merch, check out our merch store at tinyurl.com/VAC-merch. You can get excellent designs like Half Orc Energy and the VAC Blob. Again, make sure you're ordering pretty soon cause sometimes those take a little bit longer. They have to like make the shirts. So make sure you're putting your orders in if you're planning to get any of this stuff for the holidays. For the winter holidays coming up. Tomorrow. Hi, Liz. Tomorrow evening, check out DM Jeremy's channel at 7:30 p.m. Eastern for more Vazen. It's a cool
last episode.
Oh, it's the last one?
Yep. Oh. Yeah, it was only supposed to be like a 3-parter thing while Bree was gone, so.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, check it out, because it seems like a really cool game. It's kind of based on kind of Norse mythology and fairy tales and all sorts of fun, creepy things like that. So that's at 7:30 on DM Jeremy's channel. Then Monday is Mistwalkers at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Wednesday we have The Society at 9 p.m. Eastern. And Thursday is the Song of Crystal and Shadow at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Also, just as a reminder, in December our regular games will be on hiatus, so everybody gets a little bit of a break. But not to worry, there will be, well, some of us get a break. Some of us are gluttons for punishment and sign ourselves up for lots of other stuff. Like one-shots, which will be scattered throughout the month. A list of games were dropped in our Discord today, so be sure to join the Discord, sign up to be a player, and get into a game. And as always, find our podcast wherever you download your podcasts from.
Also, can I just point out that we're at 469 for followers?
Oh, nice. That's how we like it. Get ye to a game. That's right. Get ye or get yeeted. however you prefer. I don't know. Get yeeted into a game. Uh-oh.
Oh no, is Manny awake now?
Yeah. He might
Of course
be
he
trying
is.
to. He's like, why is the door closed? Give me just a second.
Manny! Oh my goodness. Okay, so tonight we're gonna talk about more third level spells while she's letting the cat out. We got about halfway through, so yeah. We've got like a page and a half or so, and then we'll be able to move on from there.
Sorry. I knew that was
starting
going to
with
happen.
Yeah, he was gonna wake up right at the beginning
Right
of
at the
stream.
beginning and just be like, let me out. And
I'm
if I
hoping
didn't
that
let
my
him
tiny
out,
terror goes to sleep.
if I didn't let him out, he would just sat by the door and went, meow.
Let me out.
Meow. So, you know.
All right, so we're picking up with Mass Healing Word. As a
Yeah.
person who mains cleric, I love this spell.
Me too. It's a good one. It's a very good one.
Yeah.
It's a bonus action, which is nice. It only has verbal components, so as long as you can say it, you can spray it.
Exactly.
And you can heal up to 6 creatures of your choice that you can see within range. So as long as you can see and speak, you know. It just does a D4 plus your spellcasting ability, but
yeah,
if you
but
have
like
a
all
lot of
healing
people,
spells, you can upcast it if you need to.
Yeah, and if you have a lot of people in the group injured, that is, I mean, it's a great way to give everybody a little bit of a boost.
Yep. There's a difference between having 3 hit points and making death saves, so.
Yep. It's so true. And depending on what kind of cleric you are, sometimes you could do more. Like if you're a life cleric, you do a little extra.
Mm-hmm.
My cleric has fancy bracelets that I always forget that I have that do extra healing every time I heal somebody. I forget that sometimes. It's fine.
I love clerics.
Yeah.
I main clerics on purpose because nobody ever wants to play a healer, so.
Looks like also the Alchemist Artificer has this spell, which makes sense.
Yeah. Because they can make like potions and stuff.
Yeah, they're the Healy one for sure.
Yeah, although
healing and poison.
Battlesmiths can too as well. They have a little bit of healing too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So good spell, has a range of 60 feet. So if you're not up next to somebody, you could still heal them. Pretty good.
Yep.
The next one
Pasta
have
is singing the song of her people at the front window right now. Affy, if you're in here somewhere, your niece is talking to you.
Your niece is talking to you. Oh, I have a niece.
That's what she does. She goes and yells at the front window because that's where the security camera is, and she knows that Affy can talk to her through the camera. So every once in a while, she goes and yells at it. Oh, she's back now.
Tell me what you want me to know.
She's a crackhead. That's why.
Yeah. Speaking of cleric spells and druid as well, meld into stone is our next spell.
I've never used this spell. I've seen
Neither
people
have
use it, but I've never used it. It's one of those ones that like you cast it and you forget about it because like it lasts for 8 hours and you can cast it as a ritual. So like basically you just cast it and then you can walk like through stone.
Yeah.
Or like move through stone.
You know what I think?
I think Keyleth used this spell at one point.
Yeah, and I believe I think Caduceus used it in the Happy Fun Ball. When they fought the dragon.
Yeah. I remember now.
It's basically just a spell that lets you hide in a wall
because
and
you
rest.
Can, like, yeah, it's basically like that Simpsons meme where he like goes back into the bush. Like, that's how I picture that,
Yeah.
anyways.
Do you have to be
So.
directing the spell to a particular person, or is it anyone in 60 feet? Oh, that's a good question. Kind of going back to the mass healing word. It is anyone up to 6 people. So you can specify which people you want to get healed. Because you can say, like, obviously you don't want the bad guys to be healed if you're fighting someone. So yeah, just whoever you choose within 60 feet would get healed. Yep. But yeah, this meld into stone. So you can't see what's happening around you. You're just in the wall. Or cave or whatever. You can cast spells on yourself, which I find interesting. You can use your movement to leave the stone where you entered it, which ends the spell. Minor damage to the stone doesn't harm you, but its partial destruction or change in its shape to the extent that you no longer fit within it expels you and deals 66 bludgeoning damage to you. You know what this could be like super cool for?
Setting a trap.
Yeah.
Or setting like if you're like you manage to get ahead of somebody or something like that and you merge into the stone and you wait, you obviously have to make a perception check to hear them coming, but like if you are able to, then you just sort of like pop out and grab them.
Yeah. Well, and also if you are say a cleric and you're wearing heavy armor because maybe you're one of the ones that gets access to that,
you just move through the wall then.
Yeah, like if you're bad at stealth, you can just hide in the wall for a minute and then come out at a given time if you choose. It could also be really funny if you're trying to set a trap somewhere and there just happens to be like a stone statue. You could hide in the statue and then just emerge out of it. That would really freak somebody out.
Right? Just a little bit.
Actually, that might be a fun thing to do as a DM too. Just have
it like pop out.
A cleric. Hello. It's also a ritual spell. So you could cast it in the 10-minute casting if you're already taking your time setting up a trap. Might as well. Try it out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So you aren't accidentally healing your enemy. Exactly. Yeah. There are... I don't know if there are any spells where you could accidentally heal an enemy. Like, I think the healing spells...
Yeah,
pretty much
you have
all
to
of them
specify.
You have to specify.
Yeah.
But there are damaging spells where you can potentially damage your friends.
Yes. Friendly fire is definitely a thing.
Yes. So read those spells carefully. Yeah, I don't know. I could think of very specific reasons to use meld into stone, and if it was something you knew that you were going to do, you could prepare it.
Yeah, I feel like Keyleth used this spell in campaign 1 of Critical Role. Like, I'm pretty sure she just like moved into a wall and then like popped back out later.
That's possible. She also could turn into an elemental, and she had Earth Glide. So
yes, that's true. I love Circle of the Moon Druid so much.
And meld into stone, I think you can only come out where you went in.
Where you went in, yeah, because you can't move while you're inside the wall.
Right.
So it's basically just a hide spell.
Yeah. But if you need to hide, it's pretty good.
There's a few places that you could use it for, so
yeah.
You know. Let's see. Next is non-detection. I've never used a spell because I don't usually play bards, rangers, or wizards, but this is another one of those ones that lasts for 8 hours, takes an action to cast. Basically this just makes it so that somebody can't scry on you.
Yeah.
for 8 hours.
If there's a specific person you're trying to protect and you know people are looking for them or something, this is the spell to use.
Yes. I feel like did they use this on Jester in campaign 2, or did she have a necklace that did that?
She might have had a necklace.
I don't remember.
Or a ring or something like that.
Because like when they were headed north to Aor, and she kept getting scryed on by Lucian.
Yeah.
Somebody did something to like protect her from that, but for some reason I thought it was this spell, but maybe it wasn't.
It could be, or there's a couple other spells and magic items as well that have similar effects.
Yeah.
I do know they used a version of this spell in Starstruck, one of the seasons of Dimension 20. It was like the sci-fi season. It's renamed to something else, and I forget what it's called in that, because it's like a sci-fi vibe kind of thing. But they were able to use this spell to hide a couple people that they had with them, so people couldn't find them.
Yeah, and this one does have a component that has a gold used in it.
Yeah.
So you have to make sure that you have that, because you have to have 25 gold worth of diamond dust. So.
Yeah.
But again, another one of those spells that like if you are getting like harassed by your BBEG that keeps like spying on you, or like if say like a person is like trying to do that, then this is a good spell to have for that.
Yeah, definitely. The next one I think, well, it's a wizard spell or undead. Oh, that's
warlock.
Or warlock. Phantom Steed. A large quasi-real horse-like creature. What?
Like,
you decide the creature's appearance. I mean, look. You decide the creature's appearance. You can do that for anything, though. Okay? Like, for real. Don't flavor things just because a spell tells you you're allowed to.
I would make mine look like
a
displacer beast, because it would be cool.
Ooh,
because I'm obsessed with displacer beasts. Like, Keeley wants one as a pet.
This one only lasts an hour, though.
Yeah, but if you got to go somewhere fast, this is a good place, like a good time to use that spell, because then you use the horse's speed, which is 100 feet. So,
stats of a riding horse, except it has a speed of 100 feet and can travel 10 miles an hour or 13 miles at a fast pace.
Yeah.
Sweet.
When the spell ends, the steed gradually fades, giving the rider 1 minute to dismount. Otherwise, you get dropped on your butt.
Oh, that'd be great, honestly, though. Just all of a sudden, like, poof.
Yep. You're like, lay out. And
that's kind of a fun one.
So it can end too if the steed takes any damage. So something to keep in mind.
Quasi-real, is that the same as faux fur? Sure. It's a vegan vegan mount. Yeah, I think it says kind of it's like any of the equipment created by the spell vanishes in a puff of smoke if it is carried more than 10 feet away from the steed. So it's almost like it's made out of smoke or something. It's a magic.
It's a ghost horse. It's fine.
Ghost horse.
Nothing weird there.
Yeah.
All.
It's just magic.
Let's see. Next we got plant growth. So this one I have used. I'm pretty sure I cast this at Athelstan in Mistwalkers because he was being a twat. So I cast plant growth around him to try to help him see the green again. But
There
also,
you
I
go.
know that Keyleth has used this spell.
Yep.
This is the one she used when they were like where the snow was, and that she used it to reinvigorate the land.
Yep.
So this spell basically it changes the area that you choose into it's like viable plant life again.
Yeah.
If you cast a spell using an action, choose a point within range. All normal plants in a 100-foot radius centered on that point become thick and overgrown. A creature moving through the area must spend 4 feet of movement per every foot that it moves. And if you cast a spell over 8 hours, it enriches the land for a half a mile.
Yeah.
For 1 year.
Yeah, I think she used this in a couple of spots too, because didn't she also use it in Whitestone? Or tried to?
Yeah, something like that. I don't remember. Maybe she got interrupted.
Yeah.
But I remember she used it at least once.
Or she tried to use it on the Sun Tree?
Maybe.
But yeah. I actually, in the game that I play on Saturday mornings, our druid used it this morning because when we ended the game, we were in the middle of a wild magic storm.
Fun.
It's actually quite fun, and I already told the DM I'm stealing
Nice. I'm here for it.
because it seems awesome. But yeah, like our druid used it to kind of increase the plant cover over us because we were hiding under some trees.
Oh no, you have Bree's attention.
Yeah. And it's a good thing they did because when we ended, we were getting rained on with acid rain. So, woo.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was
terrifying.
cool. A wild magic storm, and the DM was rolling every round to determine what effect took place, and it was like slightly altered from the actual like wild magic table. Like there was, and then like where it would happen. So like the first round we had like an area of lava on the field for 4 rounds. The second round, a random person appeared. Like they were just like teleported into the middle of the storm. We
no.
had a phase spider appear that we had to fight. And yeah, now it's the acid rain. Yeah.
I'm waiting for the round that you all spend as houseplants.
Houseplants, yeah, or sheep.
Yep. I love the sheep one. Like the sheep one is probably my favorite because it's just so dumb.
Yep. Yep.
You spend a round as a sheep.
Oh, and we had a fireball too. So we're halfway through.
There you go.
But yeah, plant growth's great. I think Fern has used it in campaign 3. I don't know, you haven't watched much of campaign 3, but Fern has used it to like create a little ball of like plant matter around them, so it's not exactly like the dome. Like the
Yeah, I think Athelstan did something similar to that, like with his ability to tap into the green. He did something similar to that one night when we were camping.
I feel like I would do that as a DM. It says all normal plants in a 100-foot radius become thick and overgrown. I would imagine that a druid would be able to control that well enough, to like make a little plant hovel.
Outside Argynvostal. But I think he did that before that too. Like, didn't he do that when we were on the way to see the hag back outside of New Tepes? I feel like he did it there too because it was snowing.
And now I have the hiccups.
But maybe not. I don't know. That was a long time ago. That was like a year ago. Even more than that. We've been at it for a little bit.
Kind of, but it was different.
Okay.
Nice.
But it's a good spell. It's a good spell for druids. I like it.
It's surprising how often, like, that's one of those ones that you might think that it wouldn't come up that much, but it's surprisingly versatile. Like, you could use it for a lot of things. You just have to think about it a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. So next up we've got protection from oh my god. My computer just freaked out.
Energy.
Protecting from energy. There we go.
This is... I have the hiccups. Sorry, I was trying to hold my breath for a second.
Oh, no!
Freaking A. Takes an action, lasts an hour, really good spell. I think, again, almost every spellcasting class has access to this in one way or another. Oh my god.
Oh, buddy.
Several paladin oaths get it.
Yep.
Clerics, druids, rangers, sorcerers, wizards, artificers.
Yeah.
So just not, warlocks? And the martial classes?
Yeah. Hold your breath.
I know, right? Here, you talk about this one.
Okay, so I haven't used this one, but I've seen it used. It's concentration spell, lasts for an hour. Takes an action to cast it, and basically you can just choose the kind of damage that you want to be resistant to. It gives you the option of acid, cold, fire, lightning, or thunder, which is nice because some of those are like not that common damage, so like not everything is gonna be.
Also, really handy spell if you know you're gonna be fighting a certain type of dragon. Like if you know you're going up against a white dragon, cold damage. It is a concentration spell, so you can only cast it on one person. I don't think there's an upcast option to add more people.
No, not for this one.
But like the only dragon damage, well, now there's a lot more dragons, I guess, but the only initial dragon type that's not covered is green dragons for their poison damage, which I believe is a 2nd level spell. And you can cast that on multiple people. But yeah, it just gives you resistance, so you take half damage, which is nice because if you get hit by, like, I had a character, my Tempest Domain cleric got hit with a really bad blast of lightning from a blue dragon once, and it was like 80 points of damage. Something was so bad.
Yikes.
And for some stupid reason, they don't give Tempest clerics resistance to lightning damage.
Which makes no sense because
you don't get to fly until level 17. Stupid.
I mean, at that point, you're basically Thor, so.
Right? Like, just let me fly with my cool hammer. Yes, exactly. Protection for poison and disease. And that one you can cover more than one person. And it's, I think, level 2. So.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
You can also get protection from energy potions. This is one that shows up in potions a lot.
Yep. I've seen that one. I've seen it most used with like protection from fire. I think is probably the most common one I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Is that everybody's got a protection from fire potion somewhere.
Yep.
So.
You do want to make sure that whoever casts the spell has a good Constitution save.
Because and that they're not in the fight.
Yep.
Because if they get hit and it drops, then you're right back with everybody else. So.
Yep. Also good for, I think they, like, for instance, in Critical Role, they use this spell when they went to the fire plane because you take fire damage if you're not protected. Same, I think, with, like, the 9 Hells can be tricky.
Yeah, I think it depends on which level you're in.
Yeah. And some adventures also that are set like in colder places, it's the same kind of thing. Like you could take cold damage if you're not wearing cold weather gear or whatever. So it's a good spell for that kind of thing. Or for sometimes I've seen in cold places, you don't necessarily take cold damage, but you have to make con saves to fight against exhaustion,
Yes.
which is an interesting effect. And this sometimes helps with that. So, like, Goliaths are naturally resistant to that kind of thing. But if you're not a
Icewind Dale.
Goliath... Yeah, exactly. Icewind Dale is one of them.
That's the only one of the starter ones that I haven't done yet.
Really?
Yep, I haven't done that one yet. I've done all the other ones, but I haven't done that one.
Huh. I think I played one session of Icewind Dale.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're a Goliath, exactly. Which it used to just say, like, old school 5e. This is a weird thing to say because 5e is not that old, really, in comparison to... Never mind. The initial descriptions of Goliaths did not specifically have resistant to cold. It just said that you were naturally acclimated to cold climates. But I believe in the newer books, they actually make them resistant to cold, because one of those books came out, like my Tempest Domain Goliath cleric was a Goliath, and somewhere in the middle of our campaign, one of those books came out, and suddenly my Goliath character was resistant to cold, and I didn't do anything to change it. But I don't remember what book it is.
So Bruce says, Mountain-born, you have resistance to cold damage. You're also acclimated to high altitude, including elevations above 20,000 feet. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because high altitudes. Yeah, that's right.
Altitude sickness is a thing.
It is.
It sucks.
I've had it before. It's terrible.
Me too. The first time I ever went to Colorado, I was so sick.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on.
Yes.
We're on remove curse now. This is a good one because if you're like any party ever, you like to touch stuff, and sometimes when you do that, you pick up curses, or there's items that are cursed, and it's fine. So yeah,
it's a very nice spell. Yeah, items that are cursed especially.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is interesting. I think I knew this before, but I haven't read this spell in a long time. If the object is a cursed magic item, the curse remains, but the spell breaks its owner's attunement to the object, so it can be removed or discarded.
Yes.
Interesting.
I believe the only thing that actually ends the thing on item is greater restoration.
Yeah, well, and also I think it depends on what level of
what
item
kind
it
of
is.
Yeah,
because they're like the Wildmount book, they have specifications for like the vestiges and stuff like that.
Yes. Mm-hmm. There's a new book that's coming out or something like that has tips on how to do corrupted items.
Oh, really?
So yes, like god level items, like how to do corruption for that. So I'm like, that sounds fun. I want to try that.
I like this. Oh yeah, here we go. Destroying the arms of the betrayers. There's a whole section.
Yeah, that.
But I think maybe that might be in the Deck of Many Things book.
Maybe
because they've expanded the deck. From what I can tell.
Oh, have they really? Okay.
Or did that book already?
I haven't looked at a Deck of Many Things in a hot minute because I'm not stupid enough to give it to you guys yet.
You know what the best encounter I had with the Deck of Many Things was in the same one where I had my Tempest Cleric, who was a Goliath. We had a bag of beans.
There you go.
Which is a random roll kind of item where you plant a bean and something random happens. And we planted a bean, and it was a pyramid with a mummy lord in it. And it says in the description of the encounter, there's a chest with your like DM can roll randomly for the Mummy Lord's treasure or whatever, and the DM rolled randomly and got a deck of many things in the random roll.
Yep.
And well, that one was interesting. Deck of many things. Be careful with that.
I don't want to like shoot my campaign in the foot just yet. So I haven't given it to you guys because
Ram pulls all the cards simultaneously. In that game. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that happening.
But this spell is specifically for clerics, paladins, warlocks, and wizards.
Yeah. I think I've also seen too that like it doesn't always work on more severe curses.
Yeah, like there might be something you need like a greater restoration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's good spell for simple curses and attunement to cursed items.
Yeah.
And now here's a spell that every cleric should have. Costs 300.
Unless you're she's not a cleric, I was gonna say. Unless you're Aster.
Oh, well.
But she's not a cleric, so.
Yeah, I guess.
But
now
she does have that prepared now, I think.
It is on the extended spell list for druids as well. If you allow Tosh's expanded spells. Or if you're just a nice DM that allows someone else to have it. I think, like, because I was the only healer in that campaign with the deck of many things, our DM also gave us a Revivify scroll in case anything happened.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
This is like your baby resurrection spell. Like, you have to do this one within a minute of the person dying.
It's a defibrillator. Is what it is,
basically.
In a magic spell.
It brings them back with 1 hit point.
Yep. And
if they've got if they died of old age or if they're missing any body parts, it doesn't fix that. But it costs $300 or 300 gold pieces worth of diamonds to use. Like, yeah.
And depending on, I mean, you could, I always think some of these material components are a little bit restrictive. Like, why specifically diamonds? I guess there is lore to some of the, like, what gems or whatever, but if you make your own world, you can make your own rules, and that's why Critical Role has Residuum, and that's why I have things in my campaigns. Yep. I'm not gonna mention. But yeah, 300 gold pieces of diamonds, usually.
Yep. And it's a touch spell, so you have to be able to get to them within that minute.
Yep.
It's been used in Thixius, I think twice now? Or just once? Or was it just the one time?
Just once.
Just once, okay.
So far.
I don't know. I don't keep track anymore. Yeah. It'll get there eventually.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I think it's Artemis and Affy. It's Aphemis.
Yeah, we're both in there messing around.
But yeah, it's most, like, rules is written. This spell just works, especially if you're in combat. Usually it's just you cast it and it works. Some people, which I think I like it. I like it when they change it a little bit, like make it a little bit more difficult, because it shouldn't be that easy to just resurrect somebody.
That's kind of what I do. So what I do with you guys is, like, if you are in combat when you're using this spell, I don't make you do the ritual for it. Yeah. But if you are outside of combat and you have to cast this spell, then I make you work for it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and any, like, higher level resurrection takes more time, and you can add elements to it that make it more difficult. My dad is walking. But yeah, I think I'm trying to think. Oh, you know what? We've done Revivify once, but we used that magic stone or the crystal or whatever to bring back the
that's
dragon
right.
guy.
To bring the dragon back. Yep.
And that was a longer ritual. It took more stuff.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Because you didn't need the body for that.
Right. Which we wouldn't have been able to bring it with us anyway.
Exactly. Here, let's just haul this dead dragon onto a sky ship. It's fine.
No one will notice. Yeah. Revivify. Bring someone back to life. Defibrillator spell. Yeah. Cost some money, but
I don't know that even Ram could pick up a headless dragon. Like, I know they're strong, but I don't know about that.
Ram is strong. But yeah, I don't know about that.
Watch me.
I mean, you can certainly try. As
Soul-based beer. Oh my god. Yeah, so next up is Sending. I love this spell because you can do such dumb shit with it. Yeah. Like, yes. Like, it's great. Lasts for a round, takes an action to cast. You got 25 words or less to communicate with somebody, and it works if they're on the same plane as you, and if they're not on the same plane as you, then there's a 5% chance that it doesn't work, which almost happened last night because I rolled for it when Elise cast it, and I rolled a 9, so I was like, oops. And actually, the very first time that Karani cast that spell to try to talk to Cottonwood, it didn't work because I rolled a 98. So...
Oh, no. Shoot.
I was like, yeah, no, this spell doesn't work the first time. And it was fine. It worked for thematic reasons, so.
Yeah. The message is limited to 25 words or less. I believe in Dimension 20 Fantasy High Season 2, they adjusted it. There's like a pirate version of this where swears don't count against the 25 words, which is very funny. So, you know.
That's great. I love that.
And some of the swears are like pirate swears, like Avasti landlubber or whatever, you know, stuff like that counts as a swear. The creature hears a message in its mind, recognizes you as the sender if it knows you, and can answer in a like manner immediately. I assume the answers are also limited to 25 words. That's usually what people do.
Yeah.
The spell enables creatures with intelligence scores of at least 1 to understand the meaning of your message. You can send the message across any distance. This is why it's nice. You can send the message across any distance and even to other planes of existence, but if the target is on a different plane than you, there's a 5% chance it doesn't arrive.
Or, you know, if the person that you're sending to is dead.
Yeah.
Like I found out.
Bards, clerics, and wizards get this. Great Old One Warlock technically gets access, and a newer, well, it doesn't have it on here, but I believe Elise's sorcerer class gets it as a spell.
Oh, the Aberrant Mind.
The Aberrant Mind, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I love sending. You can do really funny things with sending.
Yes. Especially if you're just like, you have to, like, you make it so that your character has to use all 25 words, or it's great.
Sleet Storm is next. It's a concentration spell. It takes an action, lasts a minute, and it has a 150-foot range and covers a 40-foot cylinder. 40-foot radius cylinder. Good spell. I like the spell. Freezing rain and sleet fall in a 20-foot tall cylinder with a 40-foot radius centered on a point you choose within range, which is, again, 150 feet. Very long distance range. The area is heavily obscured. Oh my gosh, my dad is walking with his walker. I'm very sorry. The area is heavily obscured and exposed Exposed flames in the area are doused. The ground is covered with slick ice, making it difficult terrain. If you enter your area or start there, you must make a dex save. On a failed save, they fall prone.
You fall prone. So it's like living in Wisconsin during the wintertime.
Yeah, or Michigan. Especially West Michigan, where we get the lake effect.
Yeah.
I also, I don't know if I realized this part that's at the end. If a creature starts its turn in the area and is concentrating on a spell, the creature must make a successful Constitution saving throw against your spell save DC or lose concentration on their spell. That's dope. Talk about a good way to make somebody drop concentration, because usually your spell save DC is higher than a normal con save DC. And I don't think I realized that it was the spell save DC.
Yeah. That's cool though. That's a good spell though, because like with the distance on it alone makes it a good spell. Just like being able to cast it so far away.
Yeah. Yep. I have used this spell before multiple times, both as a cleric and as a druid, to put fires out.
Oh, okay.
Because it does specifically say exposed flames are doused.
Yep.
And it's good for getting people knocked prone. Yep. I didn't realize the concentration part. That's pretty great.
Yeah, I didn't know that about it either, which is cool.
It's a large area too. Oh my gosh, Dad.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, next up we got slow. I love this spell. It's a good one. Like if it takes hold, it's a good spell. It takes a minute, or it lasts a minute, takes an action to cast. It's also concentration.
Yeah.
You alter time around up to 6 creatures of your choice in a 40-foot cube within range. They have to make a wisdom save or they're affected by the spell. Then affected target's speed is halved, takes a -2 penalty to AC and dex saves. And it can't use reactions. On its turn, it can use either an action or a bonus action, not both, which is great for like if you're fighting something like, let's say, Ram. That's great because
yes. Although for someone like Ram, an action is 2 attacks, so they still get 2 attacks. But,
that's true.
Oh wait, no, it says regardless of the creature's abilities or magic items, it can't make more than 1 melee or ranged attack during its turn.
Yep.
Ooh, so it would be good to use on someone like that. Anyone with multi-attack or anything like that.
Ram's not immune to slow, are they?
Are they?
Well, they're not.
I cannot be slowed. I don't know if that's true. Is that true? I don't know if I believe it.
So.
I don't believe it.
Out of sheer stubbornness. Yeah, no, I didn't think so. Okay.
We're reading all these spells and getting all these ideas as DMs.
Yep, exactly. Like,
slow. This is fun also. If a creature attempts to cast a spell with a casting time of 1 action, roll a d20. On an 11 or higher, the spell doesn't take effect until the creature's next turn, and they must use their action on that turn to complete the spell. If they can't, the spell is wasted.
Which is great.
You also get to save for it at the end of all of your turns if you are affected.
And it's obviously wisdom based. So
yeah. That's a good spell though.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with what Affy said. A lot of people miss that in slow. I would have missed that too. Had I not actually had the spell in front of me, I would have definitely missed that. So
Yep. I think I've seen people try to use that spell a lot in actual play games. Like I think they've used it Well, they've used it in Critical Role a couple times. I know they used it in an episode where they're battling some ropers. But
Yes,
ropers
I
have
remember
such a
that.
long range that it didn't matter. Um, yeah,
Ropers suck.
they do.
Ugh. Especially for like lower ended parties.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They will eat your face off. All right, let's see here. Next, we've got Speak with Dead.
Oh,
This
now talk
is a
about
spell
fun
if
spells.
if you want to like creep your players out, like this is a great one for that.
Yeah.
Because you can be super creepy about it because you're basically talking to a dead body. So it has to be on a corpse within the last 10 days. Or no, it fails if the corpse was targeted with this in the last 10 days. So you can't just like keep doing it over and over again. They also must have a mouth and can't be an undead.
Yep.
Until the spell ends, you can ask the corpse up to 5 questions. The corpse knows only what it knew in life, including languages it knew. Answers are usually brief, cryptic, or repetitive, and the corpse is under no compulsion to offer a truthful answer if you are hostile to it or recognizes you as an enemy.
Yeah.
The spell doesn't return the creature's soul to its body, only its animating spirit. Thus, the corpse can't learn new information, doesn't comprehend anything that has happened since it died, and can't speculate about future events.
Yeah.
So it's basically just a way to get like information about past events, but still, it's a good spell for that.
Really helpful spell if you're running a mystery campaign, like a murder mystery. Talk to the victim.
Mm-hmm.
Find out who killed them.
Right? Who killed you? But the thing is that like they could lie about it. I don't know why they would, but they could lie about it.
Yeah. They did use this spell in the D&D movie, by the way.
Yes.
Many times. It was very funny montage.
Yes. It was great.
Oh, maybe not necessarily true to the like full specifications and rules of the spell, but like
no, but it was still
it's a
funny.
movie, and who cares? It was hilarious. Full D&D shenanigans. Very accurate.
Yeah.
There's so many things in there were like, doesn't follow the rules, but that's D&D for sure. Like,
yep.
Speaking of speaking, speak with plants. This is also a fun one, especially for the DM.
Mm-hmm.
The spells like this are where like Surfer Dude Sun Tree comes from, and
Henry Crabgrass.
Henry Crabgrass. Consent, please. Yeah. Just like it basically it's a similar kind of thing. You can go to a place where something happened and talk to the plants there and see if they found out anything. You guys did it in Mistwalkers not that long ago, just a few weeks ago, I think. Someone talked to one of the trees by the windmill, I believe.
Yeah. Atlas did, I think.
Yeah, because you were trying to find out like how many people live there, and stuff like that. And yeah, it's fun to do for both a player and a DM because it's like a good opportunity for silliness in a D&D game. Because I mean, who doesn't want to decide like what a plant sounds like? Are they going to be the smartest? Probably not.
Also, it says in here that plants might be able to perform other tasks on your behalf at the GM's discretion. The spell doesn't enable plants to uproot themselves and move about, but they can freely move. Oh my gosh, cat. She's like kicking me in the back of that. But they can move branches, tendrils, and stalks. So that's cool. You could have them like trip up your enemies and stuff if you talk to, like, say you're running through the woods or something and you talk to a tree and you're like, yo, can you slow those guys down for me? I feel like Atlas could.
This is cool.
The trees are dumb.
It basically, in the spell text, gives you an idea for how to use it in conjunction with plant growth, too.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, it says you can turn difficult terrain caused by plant growth into ordinary terrain that lasts for the duration, or you can turn ordinary terrain where plants are present into difficult terrain, causing vines and branches to hinder pursuers, for example. If a plant creature is in the area, because there are plant creatures, you can communicate with it as if you shared a common language. And the spell can cause the plants created by Entangle spell to release a restrained creature. All things I did not realize were in this spell.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought to use it like that. That's cool that it gives you the sort of like way to interconnect them like that.
Yeah, that's very cool. Which, I mean, it does make sense. Gosh, should use that kind of stuff more often. It's a bard, druid, and ranger spell. Bards? I guess if you're speaking to something, trying to persuade or influence. Fascinating. It lasts 10 minutes. Gives you a lot of time to talk. Interesting. Anyway. Next is Spirit Guardians. I love this spell. It's one of my favorite spells.
Keeley has this spell, and I don't think I've ever used it. I know Karini's used it.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
But I have never used it.
It's like passive damage you can do every round.
Yes.
Why do I feel like my white balance is off? Hold on a second. Hey.
There you go. It is a concentration spell that lasts for 10 minutes. So.
Yeah. It is really nice because basically anyone that starts their turn there or comes in there for the first time in that, it's like a 15-foot radius around you, they have to make a wisdom save or they take 3d8 damage. If they save, they still take half. This spell. But it's like every round, which is what makes it nice. It's concentration for 10 minutes, so.
Yep, I have used this one. We established that Keely's looks like that when Keely uses this, she sneezes and spectral feathers appear around her. I forgot that was this spell because I haven't used it in a while, but yeah, this is the spell. Funny. When she sneezes, it's like a bunch of angel feathers appear around her. So.
Oh, that's cool. I like that.
This is the one that when Karini uses it, it looks like little tiny hinds, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I'm tempted to make alterations to it
now.
Yeah.
But given everything that Karini's been through, it makes sense.
You know, we all been through some stuff.
Can I just say I'm so proud of you guys last night? Like that was great. Emily, who swore she would never cry.
I was like, "You'll never make me cry," and then I cried. It did take a while.
Took us a year and a half, but we got there.
It was great. It's good.
It was emotional. You had me going to a little bit. I was like, not that it's hard to make me cry, but
yeah.
Great success. Yeah.
I've also been rewatching A Court of Fey and Flowers, and those go so. For anyone who has Dropout, it's a season of Dimension 20 where it goes back and forth between making you laugh hysterically and weep uncontrollably. So, you know, but yeah, Spirit Guardians.
Like you do.
This one's also fun because if you are good or neutral, they take radiant damage, and if you're evil, they take necrotic damage. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like neutral, you could give the option of something else. Or it doesn't have to be, like, dependent on your alignment so much. Your character could choose, or your player could choose.
Yeah, it's one of the few things that, like, actually, where your alignment actually matters. Because, like, 5e alignment is very much a guideline for things. it doesn't get used a lot unless your DM is very like old school about that.
Yeah.
So
I will say that I've seen, and I don't know if this is like specific to certain actual players or not, but there are some items that like require a good aligned character or a non-evil aligned character. Bless you.
thanks.
Yeah. I don't know.
The heater kicked on and now I've got the sneezes.
Oh, it's that time of
Yeah.
year. But yeah, I love that spell. I would use it all the time. Do use it all the time.
Yeah, I haven't used it in a while as Keylight because we just haven't had the like. It wasn't like the kind of correct fight for it, I guess. But
yeah, it's also. I personally think it's no, not necessarily because Karini has it, but it's really useful to someone who's getting up in the mix, doing like a war cleric or a tempest cleric or something, someone who's doing like attacks, and then you have this like passive damage going when you're like in with all these people. This is one also you can designate any number of creatures to be unaffected by it, so you can make sure it doesn't hurt your friends no matter where you move. Good spell. Here's one I know very little about. Stinking Cloud.
Yeah, we don't use this one very often because of the wording of the spells. So like,
yeah.
Not at least not in Fixius or Mistwalkers. It doesn't get used a lot. So, but its concentration, kind of like before, takes an action to cast. Lasts for a minute. You create a 20-foot radius sphere of yellow nauseating gas centered on a point within range. Spreads around corners, and the area is heavily obscured, and the cloud lingers in the air for the duration.
Yep. Each creature completely within the cloud at the start of their turn must make a Constitution saving throw against poison. So it's basically a poisonous fart cloud. That's what it is. Huge poisonous fart cloud. 20-foot radius. That's big. Anyone that doesn't need to breathe or is immune to poison automatically succeeds on their saving throw, and you can disperse the cloud with a moderate wind or a strong wind, and it specifies how long it takes for that. But yeah, it's basically like a toxic fart.
Yep.
I know for a fact that Scanlan has used that multiple times in campaign 1.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah, I don't know. It's for bards bard, sorcerer, and wizard.
Yeah.
And a couple of specific druids and one type of warlock. So, yeah.
Yep.
Let's see. Next up is Tiny Hut. We call this the bubble.
Yep. I think, did we do this?
Yeah, because they have it labeled as Leoman's Tiny Hut. So like,
oh yeah,
this is just the generic version of it. But yeah, we talked about this one. I love this spell. It's a great spell. Ram has an item that basically makes this spell, but as a campsite. It's great.
Yeah.
So,
it's a good spell.
Yeah.
Tongues is next. I have actually used this spell before. Has Karini used this? Because it is available to clerics, and then bards, sorcerers, warlocks, and wizards, which I find interesting that clerics are the only divine casters that get it.
Yeah, but honestly, that makes sense because like healers would need to be able to communicate with anybody, I guess.
Yeah,
so.
That's true. That's very true. It's a touch range, so you have to touch whoever you're casting it on. And it grants that creature the ability to understand any spoken language. When the target speaks, any creature that knows at least one language can understand them. So it's basically like, yeah, it's great for diplomatic situations, I think. In the campaign where I had the Tempest Cleric, we used it to talk to the Drow who were like run out of the Underdark because by like fiendish like takeovers, basically.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah.
And so we used it to talk to them and try to help them go back to their home, get their home back. Yeah, it's a good spell.
Yeah, there's lots of like roleplay options with that one.
Yeah.
So, which is good.
Vampiric Touch.
This one, so Warlock, Wizards, Death Domain Clerics, and Grave Domain Clerics get this, which is why I know this spell, because I played a Grave Domain Cleric.
Okay.
It's a concentration for a minute action. You cast it on. It's a self spell.
Yeah.
The touch of your shadow wreathed hand can siphon the life force from others to heal your wounds. Make a melee spell attack against a creature within your reach. On a target, on a hit, the target takes 3d6 necrotic damage, and you regain hit points equal to half the amount of necrotic damage dealt. Until the spell ends, you can make the attack again on each of your turns as an action.
Yeah.
And you can upcast this one.
Yeah.
So, which is nice. Like,
if
you want to be nice and creepy, this is a good spell for that.
Yeah. I vaguely recall... No, not even vaguely. I specifically recall there was only one time in Campaign 2 that Caduceus used this spell. Because he was not, like... He was a little bit similar to Karani in that he usually didn't go on the offensive or whatever. But the episode where they were out at sea on the ship and they got attacked in the middle of the night, I believe
Caduceus by those scions, this. Right?
Yes, and it was like the first time they got attacked, and I believe Caduceus used this, and because I remember sitting there being like, "Oh shoot!"
Like, whoa, look at
Caduceus, what? So yeah.
Yeah,
Makes sense that a warlock spell. Or wizard would take it. Good way to regain hit points if you don't have healing abilities and you're like a warlock or a wizard also.
Yeah, next. Water breathing.
Water breathing. Lets you breathe water for 24 hours.
Great for if you know you're going to be on a boat.
Yep. Just have it always up. It's like, oh, we're going on a boat? Great. The druid should have water breathing.
Yes.
You should be casting it once a day.
I feel like... Okay, so druids, rangers, sorcerer, wizard, artificers get this, and so Circle of the Land, obviously. But also, I feel like... Okay, Affy, correct me if I'm wrong, but is this the spell that, like, Freya did every night during Saltmarsh? Because y'all were on a boat for a long time. But I don't remember. For some reason, I thought, this was the spell that you guys had up, like, you set it at midnight every night. But that was a while ago, so I don't remember exactly. But it's a good spell, especially if you are, like for sea campaigns or anything like that.
Or even any arc that's just on the water. Yeah,
I tried and allowed her to cast a 24-hour version that she casts every night. Yeah, so this is basically this spell, because this lasts for 24 hours. So.
Cool. Yeah. And you can still breathe above water. It's just, it also allows you to breathe water. So it's a really good fail-safe spell. Especially, like if you're going to be on the water. Good to have it.
Accident prone like some parties are.
Yes.
And this one can be cast as a ritual, which is great.
Yep. I'm trying to remember.
So.
I don't think this is on the cleric expanded spell list. I think clerics just have water walk, which is the next one we're going to talk about, but I don't think clerics have water breathing. And Ford only got it as a special part of his warlock pack because
he was fathomless, right? Was his?
Well, I think he was the great old one, but
was it okay?
Or no, well, technically he was Hexblade.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But his patron was a sea monster, so makes sense. It was like a special boon he got, I think, that he could cast it once a day.
All right, so speaking of water spells, Water Walk.
Yeah.
This is a good one. This one, like, if you're underwater and you cast a spell, it shoots you out of the water like a bottle cap. It's great.
It also is really good to use if you know you're going to be going into a swamp. Or it will technically let you walk across lava. But you still take damage from the heat. Again, it's similar to water breathing in that it's up to 10 willing creatures that you can see. But this one only lasts for 1 hour. So you can't, like, walk across the ocean or something. Unless you recast it many times. But yeah, it's also very good to have if you are going to be underwater for any amount of time. It's a good, quick getaway. Everybody gets to shoot right up to the surface.
Yeah. And I think they used this in campaign 2, didn't they, when they were on their way to Eor or to Aor? They were headed to Aor, weren't they? And they had to cross that lava river and not cast it or something.
Well, they had
Ram says, "Watch me."
They used it because Not had a ring of water walking, and they used it in the Underdark on the way to Xhorhas, to walk across where the fire giants were, and then Not fell in anyway because spoilers. Because of course they did. The one that was in Aor, there was like a scroll that they had that made snow, like a snow bridge or something. Because if you threw snow onto the river, it didn't melt.
Okay.
But it was weird. There was something weird about the river. They did like the scroll that they had made it like snow.
Okay.
And they could walk across.
Yeah, that was a while ago, so I don't remember, but yeah.
But they did use the spell multiple times because they had the whole arc where they were basically pirates.
Yes.
And they used it multiple times for that. And then, that like Not used their ring a couple times and, all that jazz. I think they used it in a swamp.
This can also be cast as a ritual, so.
Yeah. Which is nice.
Yeah.
And the last
one, our final level 3, Windwall.
I don't think I've used this before, but I have prepared it before as a druid.
Yeah, I don't know that I've ever used it either.
I haven't used it before. A wall of strong wind rises from the ground at a point you choose. You can make the wall up to 50 feet long, 15 feet high, and 1 foot thick. You can shape the wall in any way you choose, so long as it makes one continuous path along the ground. The wall lasts for the duration, which is a minute, unless you lose concentration. When the wall appears, each creature in its area, so like if you put the wall on top of somebody, they have to make a strength saving throw. If they fail, they take 3d8 bludgeoning damage or half as much on a success. It keeps fog, smoke, and other gases at bay. Small or smaller flying creatures or objects can't pass through the wall. Loose, lightweight materials brought into the wall fly upward. Arrows, bolts, and other ordinary projectiles launched at targets behind the wall are deflected upward and automatically miss. Larger ones like boulders and stuff are unaffected. Creatures in gaseous form can't pass through it. And I remember this spell specifically because they used it in Campaign 1 of Critical Role to trap a vampire in mist form.
Yep. Yeah, in Whitestone, right?
Yep. It was the episode where Scanlan went all Rambo and took down an entire house by himself. And then they were in the other house with the vampire and managed to
remember that.
Stop him from escaping.
It was a good spell.
Yep. So in very specific situations, it can be really useful.
He became a Triceratops. Yes, he did.
Yes, he did. I think that's it.
Yeah, that's it for level 3. We finally made it through.
Holy cow. It's because we had to do it shorter last time, that's why.
Yeah, we had a time constraint last time. I'm just curious about like what we've got coming up now.
Level 4 spells.
First level spells are... Oh, there's only 2 pages of that one, so we'll get through that pretty quick.
Oh, yeah.
Now that we're getting like above 3rd level, like stuff, it'll start going faster because there's not as many spells.
It'll go faster, but also slower because the spells are more complicated sometimes.
That's true. That's very true. But yeah,
I'm looking forward to it. Some of these are spells I've never used because they're for classes I don't really play that much.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'll be fun to take a look at those.
Yeah. Also, some of these I forget they're 4th level spells. For some reason, I always think Dimension Door is level 5, but it's level 4.
Wow, Rick, that was bad. That was a bad joke.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. And on that note...
Goodness.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, slow clap for the dad joke.
Yep.
Oh.
Yes, you do.
That'd be great. Take it back. It was gold. Well, it was all right. Oh my goodness.
I'm here for it. All right, well, should we leave it there then for the night and pick it up again in maybe in 2 weeks from Affy's house? We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see
how this goes. I will be in Canada in 2 weeks, and we'll see. We'll see what happens.
All right, folks. Are we raiding somebody?
Sure.
Do we have someone we can raid?
Bree, you got somebody handy that we can raid? Otherwise, I can look.
I think I need to update my ad carousel again.
Laura is streaming right now.
Sweet and Laura. Yeah.
Perfect.
All right, stick around for the raid.
We're stealing
you get
half of Magic Academy for a one-shot in December, so...
Stick around for the raid. We'll get some good old bonus points. Don't forget, coming up in December, we got one-shots, so check those out. And you can keep donating to Extra Life up until the end of the year for us. So, yeah. All right, folks. Have a good night. We'll see y'all later. Bye.